Most people believe their life will change one day, but very few realize why it never does. The truth is, for most of us, every morning looks exactly the same. This is the story of a man named Jacob Miller, and it might just change the way you see your own mornings. Jacob was a poor man, but not because he was lazy. He worked hard every single day, stacking shelves at a grocery store from the afternoon until late into the night. At 32, he was living in a small, rented room on the edge of town. His paycheck barely covered the rent, his food, and the bus fare to get to work. By the time he got home each night, his body ached with exhaustion and his mind felt completely empty. Every morning, he'd wake up late, around 9 or 10 a.m., and immediately feel like he was behind schedule. His days were a constant rush, filled with fatigue and an annoying sense of worry. One night, after another grueling shift, he sat on the edge of his bed, holding an unpaid electricity bill. His hands were shaking. He whispered to himself, his voice cracking, "Is this all my life will ever be?" Sleep was a stranger that night. The next morning, something unusual happened. Jacob's eyes snapped open. He looked at the clock. It was 5 a.m. The room was absolutely silent. There was no traffic outside, no phones ringing, no noise at all. For the first time in years, he didn't feel rushed. He sat on his bed, just looking out the window as the dark blue sky slowly began to turn a soft orange and the first birds started to sing. It was peaceful. Instead of trying to go back to sleep, he made himself a cup of cheap instant coffee and just sat there, in silence. No TV, no phone, nothing. Just him and the quiet. That single hour felt different from the rest of his entire day. The next morning, he tried it again. And the morning after that. Slowly, Jacob began to discover the quiet power of waking up before the rest of the world. He didn't suddenly become rich or famous. Nothing magical happened overnight. But something profound had changed. At 5 a.m., he started doing small things. He'd read a few pages of a book he found at a thrift store. He started writing his thoughts down in a cheap notebook. He'd go for a short walk to breathe in the fresh morning air. He planned his day, thinking about what he wanted to achieve. He even started learning basic computer skills using free online tutorials. There was no pressure, no rush. It was just one quiet hour reserved entirely for himself. While the world was still sleeping, Jacob was building something invisible: discipline. Life didn't magically get easy. Some mornings he was so exhausted he just wanted to hit the snooze button and quit. When he told his friends he was waking up at 5 a.m., they laughed at him. "Why are you waking up so early if you're still poor?" they joked. But Jacob was noticing something far more important than money. His mindset was changing. He felt calmer, more focused, and less angry at the world. He started to feel a sense of control that had been missing from his life for so long. Months passed, and the small seeds of growth began to sprout into big changes. After 6 months of his 5 a.m. routine, he knew how to use a computer pretty well. After a year, he had completed an online certification in office administration. 2 years after that first silent morning, he applied for a new job. This time, he wasn't rejected. Jacob became an office assistant. His income doubled. Then it tripled. Years later, Jacob owned a small home. It wasn't a mansion, but it was his. He paid his bills on time, without that old feeling of dread. He was able to help his parents. He slept peacefully at night. One morning, at 5 a.m., as he watched the sunrise paint the sky, he smiled. He finally understood the secret. It wasn't the time on the clock. It wasn't about luck. It was about control. While other people were reacting to whatever life threw at them, Jacob was preparing for his day. While others were waiting for a big change to rescue them, he was quietly working on himself. While others slept, he was investing in his future. The real lesson Jacob learned is that success doesn't come from one big, dramatic decision. It comes from one small habit repeated consistently every single day. If you can control your morning, you can control your life. You don't need money to wake up early. You don't need luck to build discipline. All you really need is one quiet hour to become the person your future is waiting for. Sometimes waking up at 5 a.m. isn't just about getting more time. It's about finally waking up to your own life. If this story inspired you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Streams of Insight for more content like this. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is one small habit you could start tomorrow to begin changing your life? And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share this video with them. One story can change one life, and one life can change the world. Thank you for watching.